Hey everyone, I'm Cosimo. I make beats as MOMOW and I also release my own music as Alas Palace. Last week I made a Charli XCX Wuthering Heights inspired tight beat. And you guys liked it, so I wanted to share how I made it. By the way, I haven't actually seen the movie, so if you think I should, let me know. But I listened to the record and I liked it. There were a couple of songs I really liked, like Eyes of the World or the first one with John Cale. So I wanted to make a beat inspired by it. Let's start. The backbone of the record and also what is the backbone of my beat is the epic orchestral vibe. So I laid down a drum beat and started playing around with strings for the chord of the drum beat is very basic, but it has two peculiarities. I knew from the start I wanted there to be some echo intertwined between the kick and the snare. I started with this idea. So let's give it a listen. These are the drums without the echo. These are the drums with the echo. Second cool thing, I was experimenting with some different timbres and I was scrolling through my plugins. I inserted this rotary speaker emulator and I really like the result. Listen to what it does to the mid-range of the drum beat. This is without the rotary speaker. This is with. Then I laid down the strings. I remember I had two ideas for the main chord progression. Unfortunately, I didn't save the one that lost the duel, but the one that won and became the intro verse was this one. It's B flat major, G minor, D minor, A minor. Very important, the strings needed to sound natural, so I played them with a portamento articulation, which sounds like this. When you go from one note to another. And aside this specific case, I really like gliding notes. Now my favorite part of the verse, the looped string section. I found this granular synthesis preset that loops bits of incoming audio, played around with my strings library, and this is the part I came up with for the first verse. And second verse. Nice. And here's with the drums and the strings. Now let's start building up to the pre-chorus. I know I wanted to insert some melodic elements in the second part of the verse. I tried a couple different things, like this one. But then I prefer this other one. I like this one better because it starts earlier in the bar and it connects the first part of the verse to the second part in a much better way. Now let's continue the build up to the pre-chorus by adding percussions. First some metal clangs, then some orchestral percussions. And in context with the whole beat. Now that we reach the climax of the verse, let's empty everything up for the... I wanted to give a static feeling, like the big breath you take before the dive. So I used some staccato strings and I used just one chord to build up the tension, simple C major, like this, with some high violins on top. Then I added a bit more drama with a ticking clock. What's more gothic than a ticking clock, right? I think we're ready to dive into the... First things first, chords. I tried using the same chord progression from the verse, but it didn't work as well. It wasn't epic enough. So I ended up making a new chord progression that goes like this. It's B flat major, D minor, F major, C major. Way better. Now that we have our chord progression, let's move to the rhythm section. I wanted the drums to have a pushing feeling for the chorus, so I used 16 note for the hi-hat and to give some color I switched hi-hat for tambourines for the upbeat, and it sounds like this with just hi-hats, with hi-hats and tambourines. Bass. Again, pulsing feeling, like I said, for the drums. 8 notes, just the root note because I wanted the strings to still show, so no embellishment at all. Sounds like this. But I wanted some sparkling notes on top to give it a dreamy electronic pop vibe. So I added these 2 phrases that answer to each other. I'll play it to you with some piano to give some context. Answer. Now let's listen to everything in context. First part of the chorus. The second part of the chorus goes back to the verse progression and strings become more predominant. Here something funny happened. I wrote 2 alternative strings lines for this part, accidentally played them one on top of the other, and I really liked what I heard, so I kept them both together. Let's give it a listen. Here's the first line. Second line. Now both together. And all the strings at once. Finally, to add some drama, I put some church bells on top. And now, let's give it a proper listen. And that is it. Well, first time I make a video like this, what a ride. If you wanna make a song with this beat, you can download the free tagged version at the link below. Let me know if you like the beat or the video, and if so, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me a lot as a musician on YouTube. Until next time, bye.